the desert, a clear and chilly November morning. We are near the city of Buckeye, Arizona, where a caravan of cars is arriving, carrying volunteers. For the next several hours, they will comb this unforgiving landscape, looking for a young man who's been missing since June of 2021. His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, not law enforcement, but Daniel's father, David.
Where is everybody located?
For 9 painful months, Robinson and his team of volunteers, people he now calls family,
This is my family.
have been desperately trying to find any trace of his son.
He's a very bright, intelligent geologist. Anything that Daniel wanted to do, he would do it. He's born without a right hand, but he found ways to master anything that he wanted to do. You know, he's a geologist. Of course, Arizona is the ideal place.
In June 2021, Daniel had just begun a job doing field work at a desert well site. He'd always kept in close touch with his family back home in South Carolina. But around this time, Daniel suddenly stopped calling.
I tried to call his phone constantly. He wasn't answering.
In fact, the whole family tried calling Daniel. Nothing. His sister in Arizona checked his apartment. No one there.
I was worried. I didn't want to panic because I didn't want my children to panic, so that's when I decided to call the Buckeye Police Department.
The Buckeye PD is a small one with barely more than 100 officers. Nevertheless, they began investigating by first checking the area where Daniel was reportedly working. Nothing turned up. 2 days later, David Robinson, desperate for answers, felt he had to take matters into his own hands.
I just grabbed everything I had, threw it in my vehicle, and just started driving. And I made it here. I came straight through. Left South Carolina, came straight to Arizona.
Some 45 hours later, David arrived in this daunting desert, exhausted, but in a panic. His son was out here somewhere, all alone, facing 3-digit heat, rattlesnakes, and not a soul or building in sight. So on his own, David started searching, and soon made his way to the well site where his son was last seen.
This is where it all began. This is where the whole narrative started. My son drove off into the desert and vanished, maybe from here.
David then met with a witness, a co-worker of his son's, who said he saw Daniel at the well the day he disappeared.
He did tell me that my son seemed like he was looking out into space somewhere, looking out into the desert terrain, kind of staring off, and was acting really quiet. And then he told me my son just kind of waved off to him, got in his vehicle, and drove off.
Where he went and what exactly happened next, no one seems to know. Soon after that meeting, David began recruiting volunteers to help him search the sprawling Sonoran Desert. Every Saturday for the next few weeks, they scoured this barren, treacherous landscape. They have not found Daniel. Then in July 2021, a break, a big one. A local rancher found Daniel's Jeep rolled over in a remote ravine.
When I first saw that crash site, I was really devastated. This place I had to go to and see for myself.
The airbags had deployed. The sunroof looked as if it had been kicked open, perhaps used as an escape route. And this was odd. Outside the Jeep were what appeared to be Daniel's clothes and work boots, his wallet still in his blue jeans. Inside the vehicle was his college ID, laptop, keys, cell phone, and plenty of bottled water. To help make sense of this mystery, David hired private investigator Jeff McGrath, an expert at reconstructing accidents. He has a theory of what might have happened.
There was nothing along this route that the vehicle took into that bottom ravine that matched the damage. It's telling me the vehicle was probably crashed somewhere else. Either moved here or it was continued to be driven, and this was its final stop. Whether somebody stole it in joyriding, whether Daniel was in it, but it tells me something happened somewhere else.
The Jeep has since been moved to a secured location for further analysis, but plenty of evidence still remains of the crash.
I don't believe it was enough to kill, no. The airbags had enough force to do some damage. They strike you in the face, and they come out with a lot of force, and it could cause a concussion. But there wasn't enough violence here in this crash to cause a lethal.
That suggests Daniel survived and was perhaps disoriented and maybe wandered aimlessly into the desert. Could this be other than accidental? Could foul play be involved in Daniel's disappearance? It's something McGrath and David have not ruled out. It's something police have examined too. To this point, there is no evidence of that. None at all. Whatever happened back in June of 2021 has David Robinson now bracing for the worst.
It's hard to say you're searching for your son walking around the desert with no clothing, no shoes. So I had to mentally put it in my head that I'm doing a recovery. So I need to go find every spot I can out here to rescue my son. He may be hurt, injured, somewhere stuck, whatever. I need to find my son. Yeah, I found something up here interesting.
David is hoping to get more attention, help, and resources from the Buckeye PD, which says this is still an ongoing investigation, although so far not a criminal one.
Okay, so we're still working this side.
He's also tried to enlist federal help. In the fall of 2021, the Buckeye PD briefed the FBI and asked for their assistance. The Bureau recently told us they're still assessing the case. So far, they have not gotten involved. So for now, David Robinson and his team of volunteers continue to search.
I really have faith that somehow God can bless that he's alive somewhere, and I hope so. I am not stopping. He's my son. He's my responsibility. He's a fighter. He never give up on anything. I definitely won't give up on him.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son. And I'm still searching for him. Thank you guys for coming on this evening. My name is David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. He went missing here in Buckeye, Arizona, in the desert, Sonora Desert out there doing his job at a well site. That was on June the 23rd, again, June 23rd last year. Been here since June 26th looking for him. The story of my son's disappearance is that he was meeting a gentleman out at that well site where the gentleman met him on the road of Sun Valley Parkway near the Cactus Road intersection. And he followed the man down into the well site, which is about a mile down west and about almost 2 miles north. And to this well site, they spent about 10 minutes having a conversation about the weather. My son was mentioning that he needed to go maybe to rest, and that he wanted to go back to Phoenix. And also that the gentleman said that my son was acting a little odd to him in a 10-minute
meet up with him for the first time. He observed him feeling like he felt that he was acting odd. He waved off to him, got in his vehicle, drove off back up towards going south, back down that first trail where he should have came to the T junction and made a left. He made a right to go farther out into the desert. After my son left, he said he decided to go look for my son, and he followed the tracks because of the rain. He was able to distinguish his tracks from many other tracks that's out there in the desert. His track was the only one there, so he followed it. He stayed to the left of those tracks to make sure he didn't disturb them, because the police was going to go looking, and that this thing was going to turn out to be something big, and it would make national attention. He got to the left of those tracks, and he followed it until he came to some type of gate, which I know what that gate is now to date. But he got to the gate, and he went through the gate, and he traveled some more. And when he got to a certain distance, he got out on foot, did some walking around on foot for a good set of distance, and then he got up on the hill, look over this hilly area, decided to see if he could locate my son's vehicle. He also decided to paint rocks with red paint to direct the officers in when they come looking. So those type deals, my son went missing from that point. He hadn't been seen ever again. Almost 30 days later, on July the 19th, his vehicle was found almost 3 miles away from that area where he was last seen at that well site, and in that ravine. This is a 20-foot ravine. It may look like it's kind of flat on this picture, but it's a 20-foot ravine. His vehicles appeared to be laying on the side, which it is laying on the passenger side, and his clothing, everything he was wearing on his body, was 3 feet away from that vehicle in a pile. His safety vest, along with his clothing, was out there 3 feet away from the vehicle. Of course, the clothing was in one pile. The safety vest was another foot away from the pile of clothing. One of the boots was on one side of the vehicle to the side where the wheel is, a few feet away from the pile of clothing. The other one was tucked up under the vehicle on the passenger side. The theory was that the guy who found the vehicle was a rancher who found it on the 19th of July. He was there 2 to 3 days prior to that. The vehicle wasn't there. The reason why he was there, he was looking for his cattle. He's a cattleman. He's a rancher. I think he said third or fourth generation rancher. He's out there in his land and is searching for his cattle. He went down that ravine because his cattle often travel down that ravine, because if you go south of that ravine, straight down that ravine, the side where the wheel is pointing, you would come to a corral. That's where he corralled those cattle in, and he take them out to market, that type deal. So he came out there, like I said, it wasn't there but 2 or 3 days before the 19th, but it was up there, and that's when he alerted the Buckeye Police Department, who came out and did their thing. Of course, their theory to me as a parent, they didn't tell me about the vehicle being found, though I was here since June 26th, out there on the ground looking for my son, and they know I was out there. They decided to wait over 24 hours to even tell me that the vehicle was found. They told me the next day, and when I went to go to the officers, to the police department, they gave me 3 things. They gave me two maps and 1 photo, and in that photo they described everything I just told you about, and then they just gave me their theory. The theory is that my son did not sustain any injury because they didn't see any blood in the vehicle. However, at the same time, the same breath, they said they believe he sustained a serious head injury, and with his head injury, he kicked the sunroof out to get access to the vehicle. With the head injury, they explained to me that whenever you have a head injury, you tend to want to shed your clothes because you're hot. Now, I can put a note in that I had a head injury from war, and I have never shred my clothes to this date because of it. But that's the theory they gave me. They said he shredded his clothes off and put it in this pile here really nicely in that pile, and because of the head injury, and he probably walked off somewhere to cool off under a tree where he succumbed to his injuries. However, later on, after they showed me the vehicle, one of the detectives gave me the second theory, that maybe my son had probably wanted to leave his family and go off to be a monk, join the monastery and become a monk. And those are kind of theories that suggested to me to make me want to hire a private investigator. And you guys who have heard the story before know the story, but this is for those who may come on and had never heard the story before and know what happened in this case. And the reason why I'm so hard on trying to find my son, first of all, this picture right here was taken by the Buckeye Police Department, And one thing you notice on this picture, and this is that they so-called evidence pictures, and you do not see any forensic markings or anything like that, because in the meeting that I was able to secure in a recorded meeting and with the witness, they admitted that they did not do any kind of forensic work at the scene. In fact, they ended up doing fingerprinting, because in that meeting, I demanded them to do fingerprinting, which they ended up doing, I believe, was the next day. Did some fingerprinting, and to this day, I have not heard anything about the information about what they found or what they didn't find in those fingerprints pulled. However, I still, like I said, get my private investigator. When they turned that vehicle over to me, the vehicle was found on the 19th. They turned it over to me on the 20th. And then I had them to do the fingerprinting. They also, on that date, when I demanded fingerprinting, gave me everything that belongs to my son in the evidence bag, but it was marked for safekeeping. And safekeeping meaning that they said, Mr. Robinson, which they told me they didn't have any more leads to follow. This is it. Here's your son's things. And that's all they can do pretty much for me. However, of course, like I said, I have my private investigator, because I would not accept that. I don't think anybody would have just accept that answer and just go ahead and leave. Just go ahead and leave and don't fight for your son. But anyway, I understand here. So that's where I'm at today to keep this thing going. I've been doing searches out there in the desert for my son for over 30 some weeks now. It was on the 27, 28 weeks after this vehicle was found, and there was some weeks before the vehicle was found. So I've been doing over with the volunteers. We did over probably close to 20 some thousand acres of land out there now searching. And believe it or not, that sounds like a lot of big number, which it is, but there's still more areas out there to search. That area out there in the desert, as you saw the video before I came on, that desert area is really large. And then when you're searching on foot, that we have to do, especially now that's been so many months that my son has been missing. I'm not longer on a rescue mission. I'm on a recovery mission for my son out there in the desert. And it takes time. You have to have people out on foot. We have to do line searches, hasty searches, and things like that. So it takes time to actually search these areas properly. In my search, I have to note that we also have found human remains out there and bring it closer to other families who have loved ones that went missing out there. Just as recently as a few days ago, another homicide was found out there. I'm sure they're going to put that in the news soon. But it's a homicide someone found out there in the same area near this where we found the skull and where this vehicle was located. The Buckeye Police Department was out there a few days ago for another homicide out there. So my son was missing in the area that's known for homicide. We found human remains. And like I said, there's another homicide just a few days ago now. And, there's continuing to be some problems. So that remains right now where I've been trying to push really hard to get the FBI involved in my son's case. This department has really been dragging their feet. They don't support me out in the searches. I've been supporting myself along with the volunteers and for you guys donating and helping me to be here. So that's the reason why I've been able to fight for my son and being able to stay here as long as I am. I decided to do this Q&A to help you guys get answers that you're looking for, and also to keep bringing awareness to my son's case. Because like I said before, if I don't do it, then nobody else would do it. Because, at a certain time, much as you can be on national screen or anything like that, that only lasts for a certain little time before the news cycle had to change because they go into different things. So to keep my son's name out there, here I am on Q&A. It's hard to talk about this thing over and over and over and over again. It's very difficult. It's become like a redundant thing for me, and almost just like a pattern of speaking. However, I have a lot of emotions behind it. It hurts me a whole lot to have to continually to fight for my son without that kind of support from law enforcement. But that's what I have to do as long as I can to keep my son's name out there. And I have to continue to do my own investigation. As you know, I'm still trying to make sure I get the forensic work done on this vehicle that could still have been done on the scene, the clothing, his personal computer to his work computer that's in the vehicle, and all the other little things like that. That's should be processed at the scene, which wasn't. So I have to get those things done. But anyway, I'm here again this evening for this prime time for those whose time is probably 8:41 over there in the East Coast. It's 5:41 here in Arizona, California, Pacific, and also Mountain Time. So glad you guys came on from this morning. So told you I was gonna be back and start to answer some of your questions. I will be doing the Q&A now. I want to thank Minnie for being here this afternoon and showing up to this evening's Q&A. Also, Tub883, thanks so much. Leslie B, thank you for being here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your love, support. Thank you, D-Love. Thank you for your love, support. Love and blessings to you too for being here. God bless you for that. Shell, thank you for being here. Shell by GC. Sending continued prayers to you also. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Being out here this afternoon to show your support. Leslie B, again, thank you so much for being here. Mr. Short, thank you. He's my logistics and also he's my search coordinator. He will be out here. Matter of fact, we're gonna have he would be a guest here on Friday. This Friday coming, if he's willing to do that again. We'll be a guest here on the Q&A on Friday. So you guys look forward to that. Mr. Short to be on. Also, we have, thank you, Mr. Short, for being on. D-Love being here this afternoon. I really appreciate it. And if you hear me say morning, my days run together, my time run together. So thanks so much, you all, for being here. Rachel Arnold, thank you for being here on this Q&A. If you guys have any questions, also, please, by all means, put the word question there first. Or a capital letter Q before you ask your questions, and that way I can come down to the comment section and I can find your questions a lot easier. Thank you, Lakeisha, for being here and all your support. Thank you for everything you do being here this afternoon. Also, thank you, Gwen, for everything you do in the background. And you guys like, share, and subscribe like you have there, please, because that helps with the algorithms and keep this YouTube channel going, getting farther and farther out, because the name of the game is to try to get my son's story out there. And that's the whole meaning reason for having a Q&A. That's the reason for having a YouTube channel. Like I said, I had to create my own information to put out there and keep my son's story alive. So thank you so much. If you guys can share this channel and things like that and spread the word about my son's situation, that really helps. And I'm really grateful if you guys can do that. Thank you so much. Also, my name is David Robinson, the father of Geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. If you guys, please, if you have a question, put the word question there first, followed by your question, and that would help a lot. Thank you, Mark, for being here this afternoon and showing your love, support. Rona, thank you so much for being here. Jane Bullitt, thank you so much for being here. Gina, thank you, Gina, for being here. Thank you all the hard work you have been done. Blessings to you also. And everything you have done in the background, especially with help with the flyers and distributing them all over here in Arizona. So I'm really grateful for your help out there and your hard work. So God bless you for that. Thank you for being here this afternoon. Also, thank you, Amber. You have a question here, and I will start with Amber's question. And just like Amber did right there, put the word question first before her question, and that helped me out when I can come down that timeline to see it. Thank you again, Amber Reynolds, for being here. Is this man the only one that saw him that day? Why did he assume it would be big? His story is very iffy to me. I was wondering, was this man investigated and not by Buckeye Police Department? Well, you know what? This whole narrative, the whole thing, that the story that we got, what happened to my son on that day, is based on his testimony. Like I said, it was one thing that you guys read in the news, in the police report. Exactly where you could hear one part of that police report. One officer said that he said that my son, when he left, he was gone for some time, and the job called and inquired about him. That would prompt him to go look. And the other part was for another officer that he decided to go because he wanted to go see where he went. But he told me to another story after that, and that's the story I told you guys that I relayed to the officers, but they didn't make it into their report. To me, my opinion, this department is very selective of what they put in, what they don't put in that report. It's going to always remain that same narrative that they want to keep them getting and keep it going. So, we can go back over there. But to answer your question, yes, he's the only one that saw my son at that time, that day. We do have another person that said he saw my son. He once called himself a federal law enforcement agent, but later retracted that. But he's been vetted by my former investigator and team, and also by the Buckeye Police Department, who told me that he was vetted by them and his story checked out and that he was good to go. However, the only thing that's disturbing about him is the fact that he told me that he was a law enforcement agent. He even showed me a badge. And those times, of course, he had retracted that. So he's no longer saying he was one and things like that. So I had to retract that part of his testimony to me and my investigator at the time. So again, this gentleman at the well site, yes, everything is based on his testimony, what he says. However, as in anybody interrogating him, I have never heard that from the Buckeye Police Department. The only thing they ever told me is that they questioned him, they asked him his story, and whatever he said, they went with it and they put it in their report. And also my investigator, everybody pretty much questioned him. They said he's credible just by a questionnaire, and they went with that. So, and that's the deepest, even though he's the last person to have seen my son. I don't control that department, and that's not the way that I would do things. Everybody would be investigated, and find out some deeper answers to the question, especially when you change the story. Those things should be looked at, because when I gave it to the Buckeye Police Department about changing his story with the witness with me, they said, "Oh, that's what he said," and they just left it just like that, and didn't question any farther than that. So, thank you for your question, Amber. Thank you for coming in on. And why he said assume it would be big. Now, that's one thing that puzzled me when he said that. And that's what prompted me to talk to the Buckeye Police Department about it. Is when he said some things, and I was listening to him at the time and really shocked, like what he really mean by that. Saying why would he say something like that and things like that. So that's one of the things that really puzzled me too. How he can just assume that this thing, though it did end up going national, people end up looking for him. I'm still looking for him after all these weeks, still looking for my son. So here it is 9 months later, and I'm still out here searching for my son. So he's right about that, and he's right about the fact they ended up becoming national. So why he said that type deal, I do not know, and I'm still looking for those reasons myself. All right, thank you, D-Love, for being here. Thank you guys for coming on. Everybody's coming on this evening to be here. Thank you, Rona, again for being here. Thank you. Yes, well, I like the question that you comment there. Yeah, there should be more involved and things like that. So we'll have those kind of conversations again. Thank you, Don, for being here this afternoon, and thank you for coming to the morning Q&A. Is also from Facebook, and I really appreciate you doing that and coming out again. Thank you, J.M. McGee. Thank you for being here. So thank you so much. And the FBI do need to be part of this case, and that's what I've been fighting for. I'm no longer asking the Buckeye Police to do better. They haven't shown me they could, and they are willing to do it to this point. So I decided that, hey, look, I don't have that faith and that confidence in them anymore. So I need them to step aside and bring in somebody who's capable and willing to do some work and to talk to me as a person here on the ground to let me know what's going on, and so we can work together. The Buckeye Police Department is very sketchy and never hear good things with them. Okay. Thank you so much, Amber, for your comment on that. And I feel a certain way about them also. So, I really kind of can say, some of those things I definitely agree with on my opinions about certain things. So I will leave that there. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it that you came in. Thank you, Terry C., for being here this afternoon. And I'm sure that's probably a question. If you guys have questions, please put the Q there, kept the Q there for your question, or the word question there, and then I can find it easily. There's location history stored on the phone itself. Yes, you think so? When I got the phone back from the Buckeye Police Department, it was stripped of a lot of things. It was stripped of the whole Google search history and some other things. The memory card's missing out of it and all that kind of stuff. So that would prompt right there that some fishy is going on, and that would, to me, as a layperson, not an investigator, a licensed investigator, because I am investigating my son's disappearance. But that would let me say, hey, look, that is suspicious enough to say, hey, look, there's a problem. There's a problem. Why is missing a memory card? Why is these things being, certain specific things being etched out of the cell phone? So those type things is not important to that department. They don't look at it that way, and they just kept it pushing on the same narrative, and that he's just a missing person, and here's his things, and he's gonna come back get it with the head injury and walking out butt naked in the desert. That's not a concern to them. So that's where I'm at. Thank you also, Jennifer Stott, for being here from South Carolina. Well, you asked him, okay, you asked him, was he raised in South Carolina? Yes, he was. He raised in South Carolina. We all from South Carolina, and he went to the College of Charleston. in South Carolina, where he graduated in geology. He graduated honors and graduated with geology degree in geology. So thank you so much for being on here from Facebook. I really appreciate that, Jennifer, for being on. Amber, I'll say you have another. Okay, thank you so much for being here. D Love for being here. And let's see who else I got here. You guys for coming on. Rachel Arnold, thank you again for being here. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming in this afternoon. And if you guys have any questions, please, by all means, put the word question there first and then followed by your question that help me out. I do want to say one thing, though. I will be having a search this weekend. So you guys who like to come out to the searches and help, and people who want to come out and help, you can find out all the information on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and scroll on the bottom of the screen. I'm asking you guys to please come out with everything you got, ATVs, side-by-sides, to whatever you have. I'm really grateful you come out. We definitely need some foot searchers out there. And if you guys can come out this Saturday to help us out, I really appreciate it. However, the time has also changed, you know what I'm saying, because it's hot. I've been out there, I believe it was Saturday. I've been out there and doing some searching on my own by myself. And when I was out there, when it kind of around that noonish hour, 11 or so, when I was out there, it was very hot. So I want to get everybody pretty much out of there before that time, because it's starting to warm up really good here in Arizona. So I put the time back to 6:45. It was at 7:45, but now the searches will be at 6:45. Mr. Short here, he's on here and he hear me talking about it. We have our meetings on Wednesday, but that's a little extra notice right there that we will be changing the time and pulling it back 1 hour. So if you guys can, please still participate and still help out. I really need that. Like I said, I'm on the recovery out there and I need all the help I can. And I would appreciate it if you do come out. So we have our safety briefing at time and how we can be safe out there and things like that. So it's important that you guys come out at 6:45, and I really appreciate that. We'll be doing the line searches like Mr. Short says. We'll be doing that line searches, and thank you for putting that up there. And also the ATVs, UTV type vehicles. We have an area that's right out west that we definitely need you guys to go search. If you have those type vehicles, they help us out, because some of those areas is hard to access by foot, of course, nearly impossible to access with that by foot. So you guys are very helpful if you have those type vehicles. I cannot get those vehicles right now because of the funding. I was having those vehicles out there every week. I had to cut that back. I even had to cut searches down to once every other week now, and that's because of funding. However, you know what I'm saying, again, if you guys want to come out and help us, that really helps a lot. So thank you so much. You can bring those vehicles if you have them. Bring them with you if you want to come out. Just like I said, do line searches. We definitely need you out there. Line searches is very important for what I'm trying to do. So thank you. Also, Jennifer, thank you for being here. The question is, I did answer that question. Oh, yes, he was raised in South Carolina. Thank you for that question. Jitterbug, thank you for being here again. I say getting back, I'll get ready for bed, but thank you so much for being here and coming this evening. I really appreciate you showing up. You helping out in the mornings and also coming in the evening. Thank you so much. Thank you, D Love. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for your love, support. Thank you so much, Gwen, for putting that up there, and thank you for moderating in the comment section. Again, if you hit the likes, share, and subscribe button, that will help me get the algorithms going to get my son's story out there a little farther. My goal is to try to reach as many people as I can and as far as I can. So again, if you guys have questions also along the way, please ask those questions. I have a couple of things I want to share also with the banners down here on the bottom here on the screen. If you have the anonymous tip line here behind me, it's always up there behind me. And also now it's on the bottom of the screen strolling there. If you guys have a tip or know somebody who may have answers to what happened to my son, I advocate telling us that. So you guys can use this number. It's a tip line. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week. And there's somebody there to take your call every time. So somebody there to answer your call. You can stay anonymous or non-anonymous, and they will take your call. If you don't want to talk to anybody, you can do like on the bottom of the screen here. You can text the word tip to that number, to the tip line number, and the form will come in and take you to the form where you can still remain anonymous if you like. And if you guys that's not working for you and you just have like a little comment that you want to give me personally, you can also hit me up on my personal public phone number. And I'm trying to put that on the bottom there, but if you hit that number up, you see on the bottom of the screen, 803-200-7994. That comes directly to me. Sometimes when people tell you they contact me through that, it do take me a while to respond back a lot of times because I do get an influx of that along with my busy day. So it takes a while for me to respond, but I do respond. I always respond, and I will respond. If you guys leave a message or a tip, you can do that, but I can't say your tip will be anonymous unless you're using some type of burner phone. It won't be anonymous. I would know because using that public is a cell phone. That's what the tip line here is for. Is if you want to stay anonymous. So you guys have a tip that way, or you just want to give a comment. Hey, Mr. Robinson, think about you and your family, whatever you want to say. That's the right way to do it. Is use this number on the bottom, that public cell phone number. Again, we have more information there. If you guys want to help volunteer or do anything to help, you can't get here personally. You can hit the volunteer in other ways tab on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. And that's a sheet there that you can put your skill sets there, and that will help us determine where you can help out. So again, we have the Daniel Robinson Foundation trying to get that together, so you guys know we're gonna need all the help we can. So thanks so much for that. Again, I'm back on the comment section. If you guys, please, if you have a question, please put the word question there first, but followed by your question, and that will help a whole lot. All right, thank you so much for that. Thank you, CLVGC. Thank you so much for coming on. And I try to be, so I'm trying hard as can. I just love my son. I love my children. I love my son. And I think every father and every mother would do the same thing that I'm doing out here. At least I'm hoping so. Would do the same as that thing, and to be there for their children or be there for their family. You know what I'm saying? That's a man's job. That's our birthright, and I'm honored to be doing that for my son. I will have another way. So, and thank you. Yes, you can. Thank you so much. You can also use that number to call. I hope I can answer that because I get a lot of that too off that number. So, thank you for that. And Lisa, thank you for coming on this afternoon. Okay, if that's freezing up, I really apologize for that. Yeah, sometimes I have technical difficulties with this because I'm doing it through StreamYard. So I do have some type of difficulties at times. So bear in there with me. DJ Moore, thank you so much for being here and coming out here. Thank you, D-Love, for being here. And also, you can find the information on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. You see it on the bottom of the screen, passing through there. Everything you need to know will be there. Thank you, Barry, for being here this afternoon and helping out everywhere you can, being part of everything we're doing in the background. So I'm really grateful for that, and also being supportive of everything I'm doing here for Daniel. Thank you, DJ Moore, again for your question. Is the well Daniel was last at out of city limits? It seems like away from town. And that's one thing I just know is in Buckeye's their limit, their jurisdiction. So as in city limits itself, I don't know. I think that's still part of Maricopa County, from what I understand. So yes, I think it's within. It's not probably the city limits, but it's within that jurisdiction of that city limit. So I think that's the way to answer that question. However, I'm still trying to figure out if this vehicle itself is also some federal land that's around that area. We have the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, in that area. So we try to make some determinations of where the vehicle, for instance, or where my son was located at the time, was really located. So we're looking for that. Thanks so much. And it is way beyond suspicious. A person going to look at this and then say, hey, look, what's up with that? Especially after 9 months. 9 months of him being missing this long says a lot to what I thought even at the beginning of watching that or seeing that from a picture they gave me. So yes, it's very, very, very. So thank you for being from South Carolina. Thank you, Jennifer, again for, yes, you from South Carolina. Thanks so much. Oh, you went to college in Charleston. Okay, great. Yeah, so I don't know if you went at the same time Daniel was there, but yes, it's a very good school. I really enjoyed them going down to school. Him and his sisters graduated from that school. And you know, so I really like the school down there. It's a really good one. So thanks so much and for sharing that. All right, I have a question here from Rona. The question: should I text you if I need to tell you something about your former investigator? He was recently on another channel talking. I don't want to upset you. Well, yes, if you have anything you would like to say, yeah, you can also use that number. I'll put it back down again here for you. It's not for the tip line. So I'll tell you guys, if you have tips, please don't use the tip line for comments and things you want to tell me and things like that. So if you do, Rona, you can use the number that you see strolling on the bottom there. You can use that number. That is my public cell phone number. And you can call or text. And I can tell you that sometimes it's hard to get me. Not hard enough where you will not get me. It's hard to get me immediately. Sometimes it depends. Sometimes you get lucky, but having to pick the phone up and then ring it at the same time, I will answer this immediately. But if it's some call I'm not getting a call immediately, I start going down, answering and talking to people as I come down that list. So if you're there and you text me, you also get a response. So you will get a response. That's one thing for sure. You get a response. And remember, thank you for anything that you're trying to relay to me. And I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Again, my name is Dave Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. He went missing on June 23rd, doing what he loved. He's a geologist. He's hired on from Nature's New World, a company out here in Phoenix, Arizona, to do his job as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist. His job is to check the viability of wells for upcoming communities and things out there in the middle of the desert. They dig these wells down, thousands of feet in the ground to tap into the underground rivers. And when they do that, they have to have that water. That well though has to produce at least 100 years of water, and that's by law for most of these communities here. And his job is to determine that, and also to go get the rock samples, determine if that water is even drinkable, things like that. So a lot of work goes into that. And my son's doing his job that day when he met a gentleman out there at that well site, and they were the only two there. And this whole story about what happened to my son is based on that guy's testimony, that my son somehow, after a brief conversation, 10-minute conversation with him, waved off to him, drove off, where he never was seen again. So here I am since June 26th, out here on the ground, searching for my son and still doing so. Thanks to Sophia for being here this afternoon. I really appreciate you for being here and working so hard in the background, being part of that team. You know, the team that we put some things together. You guys had helped put definitely put the candidate visual together, and I really appreciate that. That really was very great. We did the fast and prayer last Wednesday, so a lot of events that's coming out will be coming from the team and things like that. So I'm really grateful for you all helping me keep things in line, because you came, you saw a need. It's hard for me to have everything coming at me at one time, and you guys are helping me organize those things. So I'm really grateful for you doing that. So thanks so much for being here this evening also. Again, Amber Reynolds, thank you for your question. You guys have questions, you can do it just like Amber did here. Ambar did here. You can put the question there, followed by your question, or capital Q, however you prefer, followed by your question, and help me see that. I will be there. Time change again, 6:45 a.m. Yes, it is. Going back to 6:45 for the searches tomorrow. That's the desert searches. Now for the city search, it's going to always be the same. 315 East McDowell in Phoenix. So that'll be the same 315. You guys want to come out there. But yeah, 6:45 in the morning this Saturday for the desert searches. For the because the weather's changing. It's getting hotter. It's getting brighter earlier in the morning, so that helps out too. But definitely because the heat is starting to change already really quickly. And say, do you have a set of locations to meet again and or time? Yes, you go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. All that information is there on the website, or where to meet, how to meet. And matter of fact, you have the links there that you click on, and it will actually take you from where you at and give you directions on how to get there to the searches, both the searches out there in the desert and also the searches of the city distribution. So you can do both. So thank you so much for that. And also, you guys, I meant to say, I had did a tutorial of the website. If you go on this YouTube channel, we'll outline it. I'm going to post it again, but I'm going to outline it as tutorial so you guys can watch that if you want to get a walkthrough of the website and how to use it and all the things that's available on the website. It will be there. So thanks so much. If you guys can, thank you, Mark, for being here today. And you say you'll see us Saturday. Thank you so much. And I really look forward to you. I hope I get to shake your hands, and I'm really grateful for you being here. I'm not sure with the names. Sometimes these screen names, I'm not sure if some of the people that I already know out there. If it is, I apologize. I didn't recognize who you are, but thanks so much for saying you're gonna come out this on the Saturday. So if you guys have a question, please put those up there and put the word question there first, followed by your question, and that helped me go down the timeline and actually see that. So thank you again. I do have a question from D Love. D Love has a question here, and thank you for being here. Can you share where the petition is at now? I can share where the petition is at now. I just can't pull it up right now. I probably could, but I'm see if I can get a screen share while I'm talking on the Q&A. And I can give. I know it's over 100-some thousand right now. If somebody can pull that up for me, one of the moderators, I can really that'll help me out too on this. But yeah, when I get information for you, D Love, I'll put that up soon. So thank you for that question. It's up there, but I need you guys to keep signing that petition because it's gonna come to time I'm gonna really have to use it because again, I'm doing the forensics work on this vehicle, something that should have been done on day one and hadn't been done. So I definitely had to get that stuff done. How to get the all that done. So get the pressure on this department to move my son's case over to the FBI. And also when I do put everything together, the whole packet of everything that's found, whatever found in this forensics work that's gonna be done on the computer, this computer to his cards, his clothing, whatever come out of that results out there, all that has to be turned over to the right law enforcement department, and that's where we're going to try to get those things going. So get it processed and get it sent to the right department, and also the petition comes in handy for that. So that's your voice. Everybody who have an interest in my son's case, that's your voice. Going along with everything I'm turning in because we demanded some action in my son's case. My son's been gone too long, 9 months. He's been missing. I'm still not getting attention and the help that I need from law enforcement. So I'm pushing as hard as I can to make sure I get the right one. So thank you, Melissa Pat, for being here, coming this evening to help spread the word. If you guys please share, and subscribe to the channel to bring this YouTube channel up to where I need to get more out there. So thank you. Harmon Sawar, thank you so much for being here from YouTube. And Brooklyn Michelle, thank you for being here. Good evening to you also for being here this evening. I'm really grateful. And I do have a question for Janica. Thank you, Janica, for being here. Question, David Robinson, have you ever given thought to Daniel being in a coma somewhere around the area? I have given, the thing about it, people say, Ms. Robinson, you're biased. I'm supposed to be biased. Daniel is my son. I would have it no other way. However, I'm also a common sense person and also a person that can think outside the box. And I'm a person that consider everything. I even have to consider the ludicrous explanation from the Buckeye Police Department, their theory about what they believe happened to my son. I had to consider all of that, reluctantly, because it sounds stupid. It don't make sense. But you know what? You have to consider every parameters and everything because I don't know what happened exactly to my son. So I had to consider that too. So that's the reason why I decided to create the city distribution. It was first called the city search, where it was going out and passing out flyers to the homeless population, also to hospitals and mental health facilities. And you already know how the law is. You can't get information, but you can get to the employees. The employees can say, hey, look, you see somebody who fit my son's description, you need to call law enforcement and say something. And that's the key right there, just getting the word out there and try to hit these facilities up. They do have workers, and the workers, if the person's in a coma, some nurse somewhere go to work every day. I know they don't live in the hospital. They don't live there at those facilities. They go home, they get a flyer, they see something. Oh my gosh, I seen this man sitting in this place in a coma or something, So that's what's important is you guys can help me spread this word and get the word out just for things just like what you said. I don't know what happened totally, but you can look at this and say something right didn't happen. One thing my investigator did find out, this vehicle was there after it being crashed with the red transfer paint. That wasn't the first place that vehicle was crashed. So that already tell you something else is going on. Whether that's something else that was going on, I do not know. That's the case. But thank you, Gwen, also for putting that public cell phone there. If you guys have questions or have comments and things like that, that's the best number to use. That is not just for, you can leave a tip there too. If you want to talk to me direct and give me a tip, what happened to my son, you can do that too. If you want to give me some advice, you can do that too. If you just want to say hello, Mr. Robinson, you can do that. You have a phone call, whatever the case may be, that's what that number's for. But you also got to remember that the tip line behind me on that screen up there is the most important there for the tip. If you guys want to stay anonymous, please use that. If you don't want to talk to anybody, you can do what's on the bottom screen, text the word tip to that number, and you definitely still can stay anonymous. And thank you, Gwen, for putting that up and reminding me of that again. Thank you, Kim. Meredith, for being here. I really appreciate you coming out this evening. And that's okay. I'm glad you're here this evening and sharing your time here on this Q&A. You can probably tell, you guys can tell I'm very tired. I'm always tired. I got got a lot to be going on, stuff like that. But you guys spending your time here with me is very important, and it makes me feel great that you're sharing this time with me. Hit that like, share, subscribe button for the algorithm. So thank you again. I have a question here from D Love. Mr. Robinson, we are entering another fast and prayer. And that's a good idea. We should. We didn't prepare for that, but that's one of the things we're going to do again. You're right. That is prayer and fasting is the key. And I do believe in prayer. I really believe in prayer. Some things don't come up only about fasting and prayer. And that's what we need to do. We continue to do that. But you know what? I'm going to do that again. We'll have another fast and prayer again. So look out for that. And thank you for bringing that up. I think it was very powerful that you all had helped me out and did that the last time. I had a number of people calling me we have a church in South Carolina, the church I grew up in, the Progressive Church, Lord Savior Jesus Christ in South Carolina, join in with this fast and the prayer. And some other churches here locally had joined in with the fast and prayer. So I'm really grateful for you guys doing that for me. I felt that power, and I know it's not going in vain. I believe I have faith. You have to have action behind your faith, and that was the action behind the faith. And so we put that action behind the faith and petition God for those answers, and I'm looking forward to those. So thanks so much. Thank you, She Rose Nation, for being here this evening. I really appreciate you coming out. I thought I had a question. Yeah, I have a question here from Amber. Thanks so much for another question. Was John Doe looked into at hospitals and more? Yeah, I had some folks looking into that for. I'm sure there's many more facilities here in Arizona that could be checked for John Doe. So that's a continued effort of trying to get information like that from John Doe, especially those, sad to say, I had to check. Like I said, I had to check everything, even deceased people. So yeah. That's one of the things I are being looking to at all times. We're doing that kind of stuff. So thank you so much for that. And thank you, Danielle, for being here. Danielle Flowers for being here. And thank you for your prayers and your love support. I really appreciate that. Thank you again. Thank you all for being here. I do have a question from Brooklyn. Michelle, should I still wait for your flyers to arrive or just print the PDF and distribute them? And you should have already received those. So I would have to check and see what happened with those. Brooklyn, if you haven't received it, would you say you haven't? I apologize for that. I'll get them back out to you again. But I said I was going to get them to you. We're going to have to send you some more. So I do have your information. I have to look back at the text message and make sure it's still there, which I know it is. I go down the timeline and find your message and send you out some more. So definitely I'll be sending that back out to you again. I hope you get the first set. And if somebody else got them, I'm grateful that hopefully they pass them out. So thank you again for letting me know that you didn't receive them, and we'll get you some more out there. And if you guys do want to help in other ways, and you want to make your own flyers, if you don't want to just wait on me to send them, you also can make them. But please, by all means, and I do this every time. I look for the flyers every time I think about it. But you guys, if you want to make those flyers, there are a PDF of the flyers out there on the website where you can make those flyers. But I ask you, if you can, please print them out, have them printed out as a postcard. And that's for a reason. And those reasons are for design. So design reasons, and they help people to be able to distribute them and also carry them in their pockets, in their pocketbook. It's not so big and they're more durable and things like that. So thank you so much for that. Thanks, Sophia, again for being here. Have you got a copy of Daniel's phone records at this point? If you guys can put the word question there first before your question, I can see them. But no, a copy of Daniel's phone records. Yes, I have a lot of phone records on my son's phone before he went missing, and even after he went missing. Of course, after he went missing, we're not having any movement on his phone. But I do have his information. I do have copies of his phone records. And that's the reason why I know that the story that the Buckeyes decided to put this young lady's story, and it's ridiculous. The Washington Department take a person they ask a question to and literally tell them they can upload their own information up into their report, and they accept it as hearsay. They take hearsay from somebody else's phone record and put it in their report. And then they're gonna say some stuff like, "Oh yeah, we retrieve information out of Daniel's trash in his phone." Well, I had a phone. Where is that information at? It was in trash. And the funny part about it, when they decided the date, they said they was going to look into that phone to, I guess, looking at when they had the phone. That was after the 30-day mark. My son's already missing, and it was after the 30-day mark when they got that phone and started looking at it. So the phone itself tell you whatever's in the trash is gone after 30 days. But like I said, that phone is being forensically taken care of, and we're going to find some answers from that, because what you think you delete is not already really deleted. So we will have some answer from that too. But it's a fact that I'm saying it that way. Yeah, it was really ridiculous to me. Change.org, if you guys, the petition, thank you, Gwen, for putting that up, is at 107,953. So I forgot who it was. I think it was someone asked me that, but whoever it was, thank you. So that's the answer to that question, is at 107,953. We're getting 125,000 real soon. I'm really hoping and praying that you guys continue on to do that. So, and thank you, Minnie, for posting that to your Facebook. Thanks so much for getting that word out. It's really, really, really very important that you guys can do that. Keep sharing some more, because word of mouth is very important, and we need that. So thank you, D-Love, also for your comments and your faith and your prayer, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Gina, for your question. I do have one from Gina. Are the billboards still up, and where are they located? Yes, they are. They're up, and they will be up until I have to renew them again at the end of this month. But they're up from the beginning of I-10. Most of them are I-10, from I-10 all the way out west until towards Buckeye. I would say up to the Goodyear area, somewhere around that point. But yes, they're going to spread out through the I-10, and I think one is on I-17. But the rest of them, like I say, is spread out all the way across from the east side of Phoenix out to the west side of Phoenix. So if you guys happen to go down there state, y'all watch the billboards, you should be seeing it at one point. They come on every so many seconds or whatever, so many length of time. But you should see those billboards up there. They're still going. Like I said, it's time to renew. Says they're not free. So, of course, I had to keep on paying. I really grateful for Lamar, the company Lamar, for giving me a great deal on those billboards. So they out there to keep spreading my son's name out there. Of course, I'm keep having these banners to the car magnets and things like that to spread awareness of what's going on in my son's case. Thank you, D-Love, again for your fast and the prayer. Again, we need to keep that going. Fasting and prayers is the strength. You know what I'm saying? It all will do is help us get the answers we're looking for, but also help us ourselves eternally. So spiritually and everything else. So I'm really grateful for you doing that. Thank you, Nu, for being here, for being a moderator and being here this evening, and all the hard work that you've been doing on the background, and your passion that you have for my son's case. I really appreciate it. It don't go unnoticed and unknown. So I really thank you for that. And yes, and on this, Gwen said, if you guys do have a question, please put the word question there first, and then followed by your question. That helps out a lot. As I'm going down the comment section, I can see that. Multiple ways you can help. Please donate and sign a petition. Thank you, Nu, for putting that information out there. You can go on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, and you can find out all that information on how to do all of that. So that is there, everything there. Thank you also, Nu, for putting that to contact me directly. Yes, use that number, the 803 number. That helps out a lot. If you guys have a tip, and you just want to tell me that tip, you can do that. And also you can do it on the tip line back here behind me, where if you want to stay anonymous, you can. I do have a question here from T. Johnson. Thank you, T. Johnson, for being here. I can't remember your name, so I believe it's the first time. If it is, thank you for showing your being here and helping out, giving some awareness to my son's case. The question is, was a search conducted near where he lived. No, he lives in a city called Tempe, and I didn't have any intel or anything right now. I did, when I say you say searches, I have done my own investigation in those areas. I've talked to neighbors and things like that around that area, especially in its near proximity. So I did my own individual investigation that way. But as in a search and thing like that, it's a very city area type areas, a residential, of course, apartment complex, but at the same time, more city type deal. And but that's more walk to walk, door to door. And that's where we have some volunteers that pass out flyers in Tempe, Arizona. And that's where those things really come in. The city searches, well, the city distribution comes in handy when it comes to areas like that. So yes, thank you so much for your question. And thank you for coming in off of YouTube. I really appreciate it. I have a question here from JT. Thank you for coming on also this evening. The clip that Dateline NBC posted on Twitter was excellent. Do you know if they plan to play the full version on TV? And I hope so. They gave me the link to that. We did a lot of filming. Of course, they came out to the desert and did a ride along with some filming out there. They spent a couple of days with me. I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful to Dateline for putting that together. It took a while to bring it out, but they put it together. I had to try to keep that to myself for a while, but they did bring it out, and I hope it's the full episode, because that was a lot of filming. It'll be a lot of filming. It'd be a shame to have a lot of filming just to narrow it down to just almost like just a little small video. So hopefully that's just not the end of it. But they did send that link to me, and that's why I shared it on here. I shared it on social media, and also it's on the website. So if you guys want to watch that again, as a matter of fact, when I get off here, I may play it one more time and just let it go, because I really think they put that together, just a clip. If that's a trailer for it, they did that very well, and I'm really grateful for all everything they've done for that. So I have another question also from D Love. Mr. Robinson, has forensics been done on the clothing? No forensics have done on anything on the scene other than the fingerprint that was done days after the vehicle was moved from the scene that I requested. And that's what I'm saying. So Buckeye would take a lot of credit for everything. They'll take, matter of fact, they tried to take credit for the skull that was found out there. I had to go call Maricopa County myself and had them change that report because it's falsifying reports. They gave them credit. Oh, they found the skull. Oh, they out here searching. We out there searching. When I say it's my searchers with the volunteers, the people that I love the most, they're my extended family. We're out there searching. And the Buckeye Police, they haven't came out there one time. Other than 2 times they came out when I requested them to come out to do some things out there while we were searching. So they haven't been out there searching for Daniel like that. And as for the forensics, no, there was no forensics done on the scene at all. Nothing on the clothes to this day, nothing on certain parts of the vehicle to this day, other than the fingerprinting that I requested a few days after. So no, the answer to that question. All right, thanks so much for that question. Again, my name is David Robinson, the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson, who went missing on June the 23rd, 2021. I've been out here since June 26th, searching for my son. I have this Q&A to bring awareness to his case and also to answer questions of those who don't know much about what happened to my son's case. And so I can give you those answers and you can hear it directly from me. I do have a question here from Dodge Fender. Third time is a charm. Can your attorney depose the guy who was the last person to see Daniel? I don't know what that really means, depose, and I can't say that, to be honest, but I don't know if it's something like she can interrogate him or something. I don't think she has that type of authority, but she can try to I guess I don't know what attorneys can do, when it comes to things like that. So I probably can just ask, but I don't know what attorneys can do when it comes to things like that. But yeah, I think in my opinion, it should be a lot more questions than just. It should be more than just a question about what happened at that day, and then just write it in your report. That's the slack work to me. That's work. The whole start off where they start off. And, I've read some stuff in there on their website, and it really irritates me when this department puts certain things there. They play word games. They like to play a lot of word games and make it sound like, they just did so much, and they haven't done nothing. They haven't done nothing seriously, done no serious work. They did what I call is minimal work. It's almost like that analogy I used before. If you say David go in his cabinet behind me, and there's a jar of grape jelly. You know what I'm saying? And I go in and open it up, and it's like the cabinet full of not just grape jelly, but raspberry jelly, strawberry, whatever the case may be. And I can just look over and glance over there and kind of look over that cabinet, and I can shut it back and say, I didn't see it. And I can write it down on paper and say, yeah, I went to go look. Yeah, you did. But did you really go look? And then you go right behind me. Not only did you find the jelly, the grape jelly, you found the other ones out there. So like we did, the human remains, that the skull that was right here, close to this vehicle, a few hundred feet from the vehicle. And they say they had cadaver dogs with an F plural, and they had all these search dogs and couldn't find a construction cone out there. So that's the kind of thing that tells me that there was no serious kind of searching for my son and things like that. That is word games. They did the bare minimum. So, but now since the thing, they didn't see that didn't go away when they gave me my son's things right the next day after the vehicle was found and things like that. They see that go away, but now they're scrambling because it came around to public attention. And now they try to put all this swelling things and make it appear that they did so much work that they didn't do, and they're taking these credits. So I don't know that, and I went off to another area, but thank you for that question. Mr. Robinson from D Love. Other than still shots, has any live area footage of Daniel being retrieved? No. And they gave me just drone pictures, just like you said, this picture, nothing video, nothing. Matter of fact, they won't give me anything that's video for that reason. Even with the Waffle House video, Ms. Robinson got this video about blah, so on. And what they did is took a picture of the video and gave it to me. What kind of mess is that? And then I can tell you, they have to ask a lot of questions of the pictures they gave me because it's missing a lot of spots. You got to ask yourself what happened until an hour in that visit. An hour that in those pictures is missing. You got to tell me what happened within the hour when my son was gone for an hour before he came back and sit in that chair. So he went there, left for an hour, and came back. And you got to answer those questions. And the department should answer those questions. If you're going to give me pictures, you need to give me a full understanding of what happened to my son or what you saw in that picture. Show me the video, that type deal. And there's a lot of games that they play and a lot of things they are doing to, that's not right. He gave me the vehicle, put on their social media that they have no more leads to follow, but then deleted that post, which they can't delete. Like I said, nothing is ever deleted. Well, I was able to get a copy of that for future reference. But no, but the point is, they said they had no more leads to follow. They gave me everything my son had. They had no case. They had no investigation. But now they're saying they have an investigation only because CNN coming here and you guys calling and this happening, blah, blah, blah. So now it's an investigation. So anyway, thank you so much for that question. Yeah, one from Amber. Where do we go to get Buckeye PD accountable for their lack of action? One thing I know, you can call the city managers and things like that. But I'm just asking you guys if you can call that department and ask them to send my son's case over to where it needs to go, to the FBI, and they need to look into it. It's close to their lands, to federal land, and they need to be into my son's case and find out what happened to my son. Who's to say my son wasn't walking over into federal land, which is so close? Who's to say that the vehicle didn't travel across federal land before it ended up in that place that is? So, just the proximity alone should be prompting that FBI into my son's case. And when somebody's refusing to do so, then I have to say as a father, it don't make me feel good. You're not taking my son's case seriously. You're not taking me seriously being on the ground. So you guys, if you can, yes, this is my opinion, try to make some phone calls and demand those things. Here's the number down the bottom of the screen if you want to call the Buckeye Police Department and say some things like that. Yeah, that's your prerogative and your right if you want to do that. Here's the number here for sorry, that's for the tip line. But if you guys want to call, that's the number there with your comments or whatever your opinions are. By all means, if you want to do that, so that's on you to do that. And I really appreciate you guys if you do. So thank you so much for your question. But as in who you talk to get the Buckeye Police comment, I don't know who police, but I know I can go to the Attorney General's office and see if what they can do about it. So thank you so much for your question. In addition to what Ms. Rob said, hold it, okay. I think I have one from a comment here. Evan, I hope you don't mind me putting that up. In addition to what Mr. Robinson said about holding accountable, Buckeye Police Department has a city manager, city council, and also a mayor. Yes, those are people that you can contact as well. So thank you for that. All right, I have a question here from D Love. Mr. Robinson, has anyone spoke to the people at the Waffle House? Yeah, the police department. Yes, the Buckeye Police Department say they have. And out of all the people in there, they surprisingly, magically found one lady. And I would say, if you guys really pay attention to what really goes on, they found one lady, and to say the same as that thing that they said the co-workers said, and also the guy who only knew my son for 10 minutes. And I'm saying the reason why I can debunk all that kind of stuff. But first of all, one thing, and I said this again, they did half of the work, and I'm sure they probably know. But my opinion is why they want this narrative to stay a certain way, because what they do know, and they should know if they really was police officer and really investigating, they would have been talking to my son's job, and my son's job personally told me that Daniel don't even come to the job. He don't come to that job in the mornings. He's a field geologist. Think about his title, field geology. Why you think the work computer was in the vehicle? That's where he get his assignments from a computer. They rarely ever see Daniel in the office. So to hear these coworkers, I'm still trying to figure out who is these coworkers they say he was acting odd and strange and this and that when they didn't even see him. And then when they got the well, who only knew him for only 10 minutes, they said, oh, he's saying he was acting odd. They keep that narrative. And then they even lied on me and my daughter, lied on me. Said the father said he was acting odd and strange. And they're going to have to retract that, because that's some stuff we're going to talk about later on down the line for lying on me and saying that I said that he was in love with someone he didn't know. That kind of deal, what I ended up reading that in that report. And then at the same time, like I said, the people, some woman at the Waffle House is trying to keep that thing, oh, he's acting odd and strange. Why are they pushing that narrative so hard and it's not true? That type thing. It's got to be a reason. It's a reason for everything. And that's the reason why I go in and I say, hey, look, I need the FBI into this case to find out and get to the bottom of the truth of what's really going on about this case, because it's ridiculous. It takes, I think they think sometimes they must think you're not educated enough or not smart enough to see what's really going on. But I do. So thank you for your question. Lisa Coffey, I'm getting tired, so I'm getting a little rowdy a little bit, if you want to call it. So Lisa Coffey, thanks so much for your question. Has the governor of Arizona or their office contacted you? Local police have done nothing, but state officials have to know about this and still not reach out to know. The mayor of Buckeye, the city managers, whoever, all of them, they didn't even so much as say hello to me. Don't say they act like I don't exist. They know I'm out here. Matter of fact, when I write Chief Hall a letter, I CC them in the letter and on the emails and things like that. They know I'm here. They see the CNN reports. They know what's going on in their city. At least I hope so. If they don't, that must mean they're incompetent too, or something going on with them. But they know I'm here. And not one time did anybody in that city reach out to me. So much as the chief of police, he don't reach out to me. I reach out to him. You know what I'm saying? When I have them come out there to come out my searches, I had to put him on the spot and make sure those officers come out to the searches. And I make sure I CC'd enough people so he cannot say he didn't receive it and that he can make some kind of move. And then I put it publicly so people know that I sent it to him. And that's what gives me the results of those officers coming out to do the half job they were doing on those wells and things like that. So, and coming out to the searches the 2 times that I requested them. So they're not coming out they don't care, in my opinion. They don't care because, like I said before, you guys, action speaks louder word. You say whatever you want to in a report all day long, to be on CNN, and it's far from true. When the lady asked, I said I don't care or whatever. Where are your actions at? If you care, where's your actions? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear lip service. Lip service don't work for me. I need actions, and that's what we're asking for is action. So thanks so much for your question. Again, I'm David Robinson, the father of Geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson, and I will be ending this Q&A because I am getting a little tired here. And some little things I have to take care of a little later. But we have a question here from Baby Girl Lad 12. Any updates on the forensics of Daniel's phone? I'm still working on that, and you guys know that I'm really grateful for your donations and things like that are helping me get those things done, because it's very expensive to get forensics work done, and all those stuff will be done in the process of due time. So thank you for your question on that. I'm still working on that, and I'm getting that really, really soon. So hopefully really soon. I don't have a timeline to say when somebody be finished, but it's in the process. I'll just put it that way. And I really thank you for that, and thank you for your prayers, Shay, and thank you for coming on this evening to share your time here, praying for me and my family. I'm really grateful for that. Okay, I'm getting near to the end of this Q&A. If you guys have questions, you can throw it in real quick, and I will get to it. If not, I'm getting ready to get down to the end. But thank you so much for being here this evening on this Q&A, and I will be back again. I won't be back on. I'll be traveling, so I won't be back here on tomorrow, but I'll try to do it Wednesday. And again, Mr. Short will be on with me on Friday. So if you guys want to, kind of, come out on Friday and help out with that Q&A, that definitely would be good, because you guys will learn a little bit more about searches and the things that we're doing out there. Again, I'm gonna play this clip one more time from Dateline if you guys want to watch that, and then I'll be in the Q&A. But thanks so much. I really love you. Love you all for your support, and I will be coming back on again. Thank you. God bless you. Let's see if I can get that up for you, and we'll be going from that point. So thank you.
Dawn in the desert, a clear and chilly November morning. We are near the city of Buckeye, Arizona, where a caravan of cars is arriving, carrying volunteers. For the next several hours, they will comb this unforgiving landscape, looking for a young man who's been missing since June of 2021. His name, Daniel Robinson. And leading the search, not law enforcement, but Daniel's father, David.
Where is everybody located?
For 9 painful months, Robinson and his team of volunteers, people he now calls family,
This is my family.
have been desperately trying to find any trace of his son.
He's a very bright, intelligent geologist. Anything that Daniel wanted to do, he would do it. He's born without a right hand, but he found ways to master anything that he wanted to do. He's a geologist. Of course, Arizona is the ideal place.
In June 2021, Daniel had just begun a job doing field work at a desert well site. He'd always kept in close touch with his family back home in South Carolina. But around this time, Daniel suddenly stopped calling.
I tried to call his phone constantly. He wasn't answering.
In fact, the whole family tried calling Daniel. Nothing. His sister in Arizona checked his apartment. No one there.
I was worried. I didn't want to panic because I didn't want my children to panic, so that's when I decided to call the Buckeye Police Department.
The Buckeye PD is a small one with barely more than 100 officers. Nevertheless, they began investigating by first checking the area where Daniel was reportedly working. Nothing turned up. 2 days later, David Robinson, desperate for answers, felt he had to take matters into his own hands.
I just grabbed everything I had, threw it in my vehicle, and just started driving. And I made it here. I came straight through. Left South Carolina, came straight to Arizona.
Some 45 hours later, David arrived in this daunting desert, exhausted, but in a panic. His son was out here somewhere, all alone, facing 3-digit heat, rattlesnakes, and not a soul or building in sight. So on his own, David started searching and soon made his way to the well site where his son was last seen.
This is where it all began. This is where the whole narrative started. My son drove off into the desert and vanished, maybe from here.
David then met with a witness, a co-worker of his son's, who said he saw Daniel at the well the day he disappeared.
He did tell me that my son seemed like he was looking out into space somewhere, looking out into the desert terrain, kind of staring off, and was acting really quiet. And then he told me my son just kind of waved off to him, got in his vehicle, and drove off.
Where he went and what exactly happened next, no one seems to know. Soon after that meeting, David began recruiting volunteers to help him search the sprawling Sonoran Desert. Every Saturday for the next few weeks, they scoured this barren, treacherous landscape. They have not found Daniel. Then in July 2021, a break, a big one. A local rancher found Daniel's Jeep rolled over in a remote ravine.
When I first saw that crash site, I was really devastated. This place I had to go to and see for myself.
The airbags had deployed. The sunroof looked as if it had been kicked open, perhaps used as an escape route. And this was odd. Outside the Jeep were what appeared to be Daniel's clothes and work boots, his wallet still in his blue jeans. Inside the vehicle was his college ID, laptop, keys, cell phone, and plenty of bottled water. To help make sense of this mystery, David hired private investigator Jeff McGrath, an expert at reconstructing accidents. He has a theory of what might have happened.
There was nothing along this route that the vehicle took into that bottom ravine that matched the damage. It's telling me the vehicle was probably crashed somewhere else. Either moved here or it was continued to be driven, and this was its final stop. Whether somebody stole it in joyriding, whether Daniel was in it, but it tells me something happened somewhere else.
The Jeep has since been moved to a secured location for further analysis, but plenty of evidence still remains of the crash.
I don't believe it was enough to kill, no. The airbags had enough force to do some damage. They strike you in the face, and they come out with a lot of force, and it could cause a concussion, but there wasn't enough violence here in this crash to cause a lethal.
That suggests Daniel survived and was perhaps disoriented and maybe wandered aimlessly into the desert. Could this be other than accidental? Could foul play be involved in Daniel's disappearance? It's something McGrath and David have not ruled out. It's something police have examined too. To this point, there is no evidence of that. None at all. Whatever happened back in June of 2021 has David Robinson now bracing for the worst.
It's hard to say you're searching for your son, walking around the desert with no clothing, no shoes. So I had to mentally put it in my head that I'm doing a recovery. So I need to go find every spot I can out here to rescue my son. He may be hurt, injured, somewhere stuck, whatever. I need to find my son. Yeah, I found something up here interesting.
David is hoping to get more attention, help, and resources from the Buckeye PD, which says this is still an ongoing investigation, although so far not a criminal one.
Okay, so we're still working this side.
He's also tried to enlist federal help. In the fall of 2021, the Buckeye PD briefed the FBI and asked for their assistance. The Bureau recently told us they're still assessing the case. So far, they have not gotten involved. So for now, David Robinson and his team of volunteers continue to search.
I really have faith that somehow God can bless that he's alive somewhere, and I hope so. I am not stopping. He's my son. He's my responsibility. He's a fighter. He never give up on anything. I definitely won't give up on him.